Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. Today we have episode 29 of the Attitude Era review series. Rebellion, 1999. This was the pay-per-view right after Unforgiven 99. This is a on and off time period for me where it's a lot of filler in a lot of these shows. Not quite the biggest fan of some of these pay-per-views throughout 99. And 2000 would get a lot better, I'll say that much. So overall, this was October 2nd, 1999 in Birmingham, Alabama. Or Birmingham, England, at the National Indoor Arena. This is the first Rebellion pay-per-view of, I think, three or four. You got JR and Michael P.S. Hayes on commentary. I thought this was a pretty good team here on commentary. I'm also just going to go back to the video form of some of these reviews. I think saving the live streams for some of the big four or five pay-per-views of the year would be a bit better. So Rebellion of 99. We got about a 3-hour runtime on there. Somewhat decent artwork on the cover. You got Rock, Triple H, Jeff Jarrett, Kane, Big Show, and China. You know, I'm a big fan of these Rebellion shows. And overall, it's something we need today to kind of counterbalance the other pay-per-views of the year. Doing a couple of Raws and SmackDowns in the UK doesn't really do it for me. I think the big pay-per-views could be done and very well should be done in today's era. So we got, I think, 10 matches here on this Rebellion show. First off here, we got Jeff Jarrett versus D'Lo Brown. Jeff Jarrett being the IC champ and D'Lo Brown being the European champion. This was not a title for title match, but we had a coin toss to determine whose title would be on the line. So it was Jeff Jarrett's title being up for grabs, I believe. Yeah, he was with Miss Kitty. So before the match, Jeff Jarrett puts the figure four on a stagehand, probably an extra. And China comes down, kind of breaking this up. Got a running powerbomb for 2 from D'Lo. Jeff Jarrett and Kitty end up distracting the ref with a roll-up to retain the IC title. And later on in the night, Jarrett challenges China to a match. He says, you know, we're not done with our feud yet, so on and so forth. So we'll see how that ends up going down. Second match of the night would be the Godfather versus Gangrel. This is a decent match. 2 of my favorites from this era. And this is one of Godfather's best looking trains he ever came out with. You know, Godfather had so many women with him throughout the years. It's hard to argue which ones looked best. So this match, it didn't last too long. Godfather hitting the whole train and the pimp drop for 3. After the match, Michael Cole is with China. China accepts the IC title match. And then we got the British Bulldogs here saying that he deserves a title shot. And this will end up being probably the most known thing about this event involving the Bulldog. Third match of the night, we got Val Venis versus Mark Henry. Again, another fairly short match. Val Venis with the money shot for the pin and the win. After the match, we go back to the Bulldog in Vince's office. And this is where it gets heated. This is where I think this show is more remembered than not. is with the Bulldog's involvement, and this would carry through for storylines for a long time. This would, when it comes to these UK shows, you don't get a lot of, and this is the wrong pay-per-view, but whatever. A lot of these pay-per-views, they're not really known for their storytelling or their story arcs or whatever. It's pretty much just another show that doesn't affect any storytelling at all, which is why we see, even today with these Saudi Arabia shows, a lot of titles don't change hands on these, B or even C level shows. But this thing with the Bulldog, he's getting into it with Vince. He picks up a trash can, wails it across the room, and it knocks Stephanie unconscious. And this is why it would affect future shows and whatnot. Stephanie would be knocked completely out. She wouldn't be able to make her wedding, which I believe was scheduled for the following Monday, or something like this. They postponed the wedding, and then they come up with the Triple H Stephanie angle. So this was a big deal. Fourth match of the night is the women's title match. We got Tori, Ivory, Jacqueline, Luna in a fatal four-way. There's several falls going out throughout this thing. They got a four-way headlock going on at one point in time. Ivory grabs the championship, strikes Jacqueline, and Ivory retains. After the match, we see the medics backstage with Stephanie, and then Bulldog reacting to it. Excuse me. But so Bulldog is pretty pissed, and he's kind of saying, like, I deserve a title shot. Let me face Triple H and whatnot. He's like, you had your match. You lost. Which is why the Bulldog ended up getting so heated. So, yeah, Bulldog was in the six-pack challenge, and then Triple H beat him again, I believe, in a one-on-one. But it was because of The Rock's involvement. Bulldog lost the 1, 2. It doesn't matter if The Rock counts to 3. And this would lead to the Bulldog versus The Rock. And sadly, Bulldog never did get to hold the WWF title. It was a very cutthroat business at this time with Rock, Austin, Taker, Kane, Triple H, Mankind. There was a lot of guys here that were aiming for that top gold. Fifth match of the night, the Road Dogg versus Chris Jericho. Awesome crowd reactions here. We got a good back and forth. You got Mr. Hughes, Curtis Hughes here, interfering in the match. This was, I believe, Road Dogg's first match back since being injured on the first episode of SmackDown, which was about a month before this. Just had some nagging back injuries. So Jericho with the spinning toe hold on the Road Dogg. Jericho misses the lion salt, and Road Dogg hits the shake, rattle, and roll. On the last jab, he strikes the ref. Mr. Hughes grabs the chair. Jericho gets a 2 count, and Jericho with the low blow for the 3 count. This was a pretty good match. And then they go back, watch this chair shot, low blow. Pretty good stuff. So this is only at the 1 hour mark going into this 6th match. Chyna versus Jeff Jarrett with Miss Kitty. It only goes about 2 minutes. The Bulldog interferes, so Bulldog back again here. Bulldog interferes, power slamming Chyna. And then Jarrett hitting the figure 4 leg lock onto Chyna as well. 7th match of the night. The Big Show versus Kane in a no DQ. This was an okay match. Good back and forth. A lot of big body slams, power slams. Kane with the clothesline off the top rope. And Big Show with a chair shot to or no, Kane with the chair shot, and Kane wins. So they would end up doing different stuff with Big Show and Kane after this. Of course, Chyna would get her rematch for the IC title. Next up here, we see Triple H with Michael Cole, and he's now saying he doesn't care about Chyna. He doesn't care about the British Bulldog. He only cares about being champion about this time. So this is kind of where things kind of split off with Triple H and Chyna. Triple H is now the full-fledged heel. He's the WWF champion, and he's gonna do it alone or with himself. He doesn't care about anyone. Chyna, of course, is now a babyface going after the IC title. 8th match of the night. X-Pac versus the British Bulldog. Bulldog here was in incredible shape. He's actually wearing tights. I believe he's wearing tights. Which was, no, he's actually wearing the jeans here again. Bulldog in jeans. Never liked that look. To me, I love the Bulldog's classic attire in the red, white, and blue Union Jack colors. But, you know, Bulldog is a awesome talent, you know, one of the classic wrestling characters. I believe Bulldog could have been pushed as a upper mid-carder guy holding the IC title at this time. I thought he could have done fairly well. Sadly, his run at this time didn't last long. They gave him the hardcore title briefly and the European title briefly. They didn't really have much for the Bulldog at this time. Bulldog hits a nice delayed suplex. X-Pac goes for the Bronco Buster. British Bulldog ends up hitting a power slam for 3, and that's about it for them. Backstage, we see the Hollies hardcore in a crash with the giant scale. And this was like them trying to outdo everyone, saying, if you're not 400 pounds or more, we ain't fighting ya. This was good while it lasted. I don't think it really caught on as much as they hoped. And it's kind of a weird kind of stipulation kind of gimmick they had. 9th match of the night is a 3-way tag team elimination match. You got Edge, Hardcore Holly. You got Edge and Christian, the Hollies, and I believe the Hardys. Oh, the Acolytes. So this was just an all-out brawl at first. You got Edge and Hardcore starting it out. You got a big clothesline on Crash for 3. He's eliminated. A back and forth. Christian diving to the outside. Bradshaw with the clothesline from hell for 2. And then a tornado DDT for 3. So that was a decent match. And then we go on to our main event, which is a cage match for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. The big blue, big black cage is back here. And at this time, they announced about 13,000 had been in attendance. 13,500. So they wouldn't use the big blue cage much after this show. About a handful of times more. I can count... let's see, in 2000, they didn't use it at all, I don't think. I think they might have used it at Rebellion 2001. So, about that cage, that was a very unforgiving cage there, very solid steel. It took a long time to set up and a long time to tear down. As we seen during the Unforgiven pay-per-view, they were ready for the main event and still, you know, deconstructing this big old cage. I'm indifferent about the cage because it looks nostalgic. It looks cool. You know, there's a lot of great memories with the big blue cage. But for wrestlers' safety and whatnot, I think the mesh cage is the best option. You know, it has more spring to it, a lot more giving. So this starts about the 2-hour mark with The Rock versus Triple H. You got a good back and forth match here. Rock bottom to start the match. Triple H hitting a suplex pedigree, and they're getting a chair involved. So Earl ends up getting knocked out. The Rock escapes. I wrote something here. Oh, Dave Meltzer ends up giving this match 3 3/4 stars. I couldn't understand reading here sometimes. So Earl's knocked out. There's no ref. The Rock gets on the mic, cuts a promo on Triple H. Triple H gets busted open on the announce desk, and Rock hits an elbow through the table. Back in the ring now. You got The Rock calling out, and The Rock climbing out. Out comes the British Bulldog again. Yeah, the show is heavily built around Bulldog here. We see a power slam to Shane. The Stooges come out. You see a second rock bottom to Triple H. Chyna slams the door on Rock's head. It's now 3-on-1. Triple H climbs out, and Bulldog puts the boots to The Rock. So Triple H retains here. After the match, Vince comes down, locks Bulldog in the cage, and Vince drops an F-bomb, giving him the birds and whatnot. So, rock bottom, people's elbow to the British Bulldog. Fans go home happy. Overall, not the best show during this era. I'm going to give this 6.5 out of 10. It's worth watching, but there's a lot of filler to it. So that's my rating. Let me know your thoughts on this one, guys. If you've ever seen Rebellion 99, give it a watch at least once, I'd say. At least watch the main event stuff here with Rock, Triple H. Stuff with Road Dogg and Jericho, I'd say, is a highlight as well. It's Rebellion 99. So coming up next in our schedule, we're going to go back a year to 98 and check out Capital Carnage. And then after that, we're going to resume our regular schedule with No Mercy 99 from October and the Survivor Series 99 in November. So let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Let me know what your score would be. We'll talk to you later. Peace.